It's a madhouse at Candlestick.
43 years ago today, the catch. My goodness, how has it been that long? I don't think any of us were alive for that, to be honest.
Not at all.
But welcome into a very special edition of Niner Insider. I am Ben Ross, as we mentioned, joined by Evan Giddings from 95.7 The Game, Tyler Miller, co-host of the On Base Soil podcast, and we're here to just kind of shoot the breeze, talk all things 49ers. Obviously, a really disappointing season for a lot of different reasons. Mercifully, it has come to an end. The team at 6-11 to finish this year, coming off the Super Bowl last year. But we've talked enough about this season. We want to spin it forward to the offseason. And I think, clearly the biggest topic right now for the offseason is Brock Purdy, right? We've heard all about it. Rookie, finishing out his rookie deal, one more season on it. But both John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have said they want to get this contract extension done. Mm-hmm. Evan, I want to start with you because I found it interesting when you came on the show a few weeks ago. I asked you if you felt like Brock Purdy was worthy of that big money extension or if you had any concerns based on, some of the up and down play. You told me no. You think he's the guy and he's earned it. You still feel that way?
I do, honestly. I think Brock Purdy is the epitome of what the San Francisco 49ers are trying to be, which is a model, stable, upright organization. And I understand that he's got some limitations, but even in a year that was disastrous by pretty much every single metric, he still managed to be a top 10 quarterback. And to me, again, kind of as I mentioned before, you've seen the floor of Brock Purdy this season. You saw the ceiling of Brock Purdy last season. And from that standpoint, I'm fully prepared to offer him what I think he's due, which is top of market money.
Tyler, what do you think? I mean, we've talked a few times about Brock, and I've got some of my own concerns just about how he struggled in the elements. I mean, I guess he doesn't have to deal with the rain a ton and the snow a ton being in San Francisco. But what do you think? I mean, has Brock Purdy shown you enough where you feel like he is that franchise quarterback?
I'm going to be a little bit indifferent with Evan. I don't think he is the type of franchise quarterback that's going to be the one to elevate a team and be able to be like, a bus driver, as they say. But with the right pieces around him, Christian McCaffrey hopefully coming back healthy, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, George Kittle, he has shown enough to be able to at least take them to the big game. Now it's all just about when you get there, can you actually win it? And I just feel like at this point in time, I feel like he has earned the money that he's due, but it's really just about that number. I really want to see what the number's going to be.
That's kind of where I fall too, because I look at the numbers, and again, last year he was obviously amazing. 113 quarterback or passer rating, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Yep. This season numbers were down a little bit, passer rating at 96.1. Yep. I've watched him. I think he's a good quarterback. That's where I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's above average. To me, I don't put him in that upper echelon. Obviously, that's hard. He's still young in his career, and not many people are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Yep. I still have to me, it depends what the number is, and can you find a way to do the contract where you've still got cap space to do what else you need to do with the roster?
I mean, let's just look at that number, though, because, the cap is going up. That's another part of this that factors in, too. And that's a big reason why someone like Dak Prescott, who we all would agree is not a top quarterback, makes $60 million. So, Brock Purdy right now, if he's due for, let's just say 60, right? Yeah. Next year, the cap's going to be around 275. If we agree that it's going to move in the same direction, by the time he's actually due that first big bag, it's going to be about $300 million. That means he's worth 25% of the cap. There's about 10 quarterbacks right now that make 25% of the cap for their teams. Not all of them are elite quarterbacks or the game changers, the bus drivers like you talked about, T. So in my mind, that number, it's astronomical, but it's not as intimidating as a lot of people are making it out to be. At least that's the way that I see it.
What do you think, Tyler?
I'm going to definitely agree with that for Evan. With the quarterbacks that are making that amount of money, like Dak Prescott, like he said, Trevor Lawrence as well, too. Those aren't people who's going to elevate your team, but I think if they're able to backload the actual deal, that'll allow them to be able to bring back bigger assets to help the team win.
All right, another guy I wanted to talk about from the offense is George Kittle, who's coming off a great year, just named second-team All-Pro this season, pretty close to first-team All-Pro as a tight end. He's entering the final year of his contract next year. That's kind of an interesting situation. Evan, you were saying, you're not so sure that maybe he's a guy who's going to want a new deal, and there could be a potential holdout or some sort of drama heading into next year. What do you see playing out there?
Well, the first time that Kittle was due for a big bag, he held out late into camp, and that was something that obviously wasn't a big deal at the time because the Niners weren't competing for Super Bowls like they're expecting to be next year. But if I'm George Kittle, I'm 33, 34 years old. I just came off an all-pro season, like you mentioned, Ben. This might be my last chance to get that bag for my career on the back end of what I believe to be one of the best in the 49ers uniform. So you want to keep him if you're the 49ers, not just for the entirety of his career, but also for the remainder of his best days to pair with a Brock Purdy, who he clearly has a fantastic symbiotic relationship with in terms of passing the football. So for me, George Kittle, I think this is going to be his last best chance to get his money that I think he's deserved. That's why I see him asking for a contract, and he's quietly left some breadcrumbs out there that he thinks he's worth that big money.
Yeah, Tyler, I mean, what can you say about the year that Kittle had this season?
I mean, he was amazing. Ended up being the top tight end in the league, of course. Really taking that crown from Travis Kelce finally, and just really proving his worth for the team. I think he should be a 49er for life. He has proved it no matter who's back there with Dobbs or Brock Purdy this year. And I really think they're going to be able to bring Kittle back at a number that's good for the team.
We still got a lot to get to. We want to talk about the defense. There's a whole lot of questions that we're going to answer, hopefully, in our second segment. Again, Tyler Miller, Evan Giddings, I'm Ben Ross. We'll be back with more on Niner Insider right after this.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, touchdown.
John Lynch, I mean, I wouldn't want to get in his way either, the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, look at him. He's about ready to put his face in that glass.
I'm sorry. I just can't see that enough. I'm sorry to John Lynch, obviously frustrated. But, I mean, that pretty much sums up the year right there, right? Welcome back to Niner Insider. Tyler Miller from the On Base Soil podcast. Evan Giddings, 95.7 The Game. I'm Ben Ross. Yeah, let's talk defense. And I think right out of the chute, you know, we talked about Brock Purdy. I think the other big contract question is Dre Greenlaw, who's going to be a free agent. We've kind of been discussing this for a lot of this year. Tyler, I want to start with you this time. Do you see Greenlaw as a guy they need to bring back?
Oh, definitely need to bring back Dre Greenlaw. He's had so many phenomenal games that he's won for the 49ers, Seahawk killer and everything. He has, I think, a $7 million deal currently right now on his contract. I think he's looking for at least $14 million. So if they're able to maybe cut some of the other guys and, you know, hit that cap hit, they'd be able to bring back Dre Greenlaw.
How about you, Evan? Do you think he's a guy they need to prioritize?
Well, to piggyback off of Tyler, I think it's an outstanding point. But Dre Greenlaw represents to me the heart and soul of what the Niners are trying to get back to being, which is a physical, tough-minded, grind defense. And obviously they have a big choice to make with who leads that defense as the coordinator. But Dre Greenlaw is somebody I think, even on a one-year prove-it deal, even off the Achilles injury, he's somebody that in one half of football that you're looking at right now, he displayed a ferocity that we saw. It helped carry the 49ers to a Super Bowl. So Dre Greenlaw absolutely has to be a priority.
And you just go back to that Super Bowl and wonder what if, right? That freak injury in the middle of the Super Bowl. It can't help but wonder. Evan, you referenced, you know, the defensive coordinator job being open. The Niners are going to have 3 new coordinators one way or another. Clay Kubiak promoted to offensive coordinator. We learned that Robert Saleh has interviewed for the defensive coordinator job. Evan, I'll give you first crack. I mean, what do you think? Is he going to get a head coaching job, or do you think there's a chance that he ends up back with the Niners as the defensive coordinator?
Well, if you're the Niners, I think you're praying that Robert Saleh doesn't get a head coaching job, right, because he would be the man that's perfect for the position. But I think overall, it just points to the fact that the Niners need to overhaul a lot of what they do, both on defense and, of course, special teams, but specifically defense. This has been something that has really plagued the Niners, not being able to stop the run and get it done in the trenches. To me, Saleh is somebody that can help bring back some sort of balance to that part of the game that's, even in their great season like last, been lacking a little bit.
All right. Tyler, Evan, thank you guys both very much. That just flew by. We had all sorts of topics lined up. I'm glad we could get to the big ones. Again, Tyler Miller from the On Base Soil podcast and Evan Giddings. You can listen to him on 95.7 The Game. I'm Ben Ross. You can watch me right here whenever you want. We'll have more coming up at 11. That's going to do it for now, though, on Niner Insider. We'll toss it over to Noel Bello and Dan Thorne for a look at what's coming up on KRON4 News at 11.
All right, Ben, thank you. Coming up next on KRON4 News at 11, the latest on the Southern California wildfires as the largest fire prompts new evacuations tonight.
Plus, one South Bay company is looking to make fire retardant safer to use, and a new beginning for a mom who was formerly addicted to fentanyl. We'll have her story and a city program that helped give her a fresh start. When we come back, I'm Dan Thorne.
And I'm Noelle Bello. We'll see you after the break.